again, I've just warmed my coffee up and fitting to the witchy woo, I put this coat on, but not because of that. Because it went cold in here, because I'm in the conservatory and it's gone cold. I just had to put the blower heater on a few minutes, but I didn't have like a thick warm coat, so I thought I'd put this on, and it's fitting anyway because it's black, and I don't normally wear black, but I did get this from, got it ages ago, I think it was last year, from, and I don't normally do black. I've not worn it yet. I was meant to show you the other day when I was going on about stuff, but I went to the kilo sale, vintage kilo sale in Manchester last year with my friend and daughters, because they go quite a bit, and you go along, if you've ever been to one, but you go along and you get a bag, and you can put what you want in the bag, and then you go and weigh it, and obviously if it's a kilo, it's £15 a kilo, and then when you go to pay, they weigh it again, but if it's a little bit over, you just pay a little bit more, but obviously if you put lighter things in the bag, you'll get more, and if you put heavy things, this was quite heavy, it's quite thick, and it made me laugh because it was from, was it Clock House? C&A. C&A was really nice, and it's got a belt round. You can't really see it's solid black. It's got a belt. I'll have to show you again another time. But my mum used to work in C&A. Used to love C&A, so it's quite funny. But it's thick, like a wool material. It's got no marks in it or anything. So yeah, I got that and a couple of other things. But this was quite heavy. The other things I got weren't really that bothered about. I don't even know if I don't know what happened to them. But it was a coat that I was after. So. But the funny thing was, it was a little bit small when I first got it, but I know I'd lose weight and probably get into it, and I have got into it now. Just apart from me across here a little bit, but I'm hoping they go down a little bit. But anyway, I just thought I'd put this on because it's quite fitting as it goes like this, so quite like it. But yeah, it's just keeping me warm at the minute, so I don't normally wear black. But yeah, as I was saying before, I was showing you my book, but I'll go into that in a minute because I just have some strange things happening, like I said with the ladybird thing today, and looking up that was really nice. And then also yesterday, my son was supposed to go to this thing. I'm just having problems with my son at the minute. He's a teenager, you know what comes to teenagers, but I won't go into that. But anyway, he come down yesterday and he said to me, he's supposed to be at this thing, but he come down and he said, I was in the garden with Finn and I was writing out about the ladybird thing outside in my book, because that's another good thing about the journals as well, is sometimes I just have a journal where I can just write things down when I need to quickly, but then I'll transfer them to, well, I'll show you my other book in a minute. But he said to me, Mum, you know what, he said, sometimes in the morning I can't move when I wake up. I said, what do you mean? And he said, like that thing where, he said, I'm awake but I can't move. He said, and sometimes I see things. And I was like, oh, the guy that I was seeing at Christmas he said he used to get that, he gets it, and he used to, and years ago they used to say it was like a spirit or something would sit on your chest and you couldn't breathe and you couldn't move, and that's why you couldn't move, because it was a spirit on your chest. But these days it's more like, because I think it's because you're half asleep and half awake, and then you hallucinate sort of thing, you know, like, I said, it's all right. I said, but this thing that he was supposed to go into, he didn't go, he was getting anxious. And I said, I think it is slightly to do with anxiety and sometimes depression and stuff, because the guy that I was seeing said he had a bit of anxiety. So I do think it sort of, I think, goes into that as well. But anyway, we had a bit of a discussion about that. I said, it's all right. And he said he's been having it for years, because he used to sleepwalk as well, years ago as well. But anyway, I said to him, I did say to him, do you want me to make you, you know, instead of making these, I said, do you want me to make you a dream catcher, you know, just to hang in your bedroom to make you feel a bit like, you know, catching your bad dreams, not letting your bad dreams in. So he was like, and I thought he'd go, no, you know, because he's a teenager, but he went, oh, all right. And so I am going to make him a dream catcher, a bit more of a boyish one, not with butterflies hanging off it, but like I said, these will be going up soon in my Facebook shop. Soul Creations. Like I said, if anyone's been looking, there's not much on it yet because I've still got to make a few things up. And the thing is with this, I've made some of these frames, and then my mother, I looked outside of the garden this morning and I thought, where are the you know, the twiggy wood bits that I was making my dream catchers in. I thought, she's moved them. She's only thrown them out in the green bin, and the green bin went out today, and I was like, Mum, you didn't ask me, you never asked. This is your problem. You never asked me first, you just do it. I said, I'll have to go back down to the country park now where we live, but not that that's a problem because it's nice and the weather's been okay, so I'll have to go and do it again. But I got these in my garden, but she'd actually chucked a lot, so I was a bit annoyed, but there you go. But anyway, there's only one other thing I was going to say before I get to the thing that I was going to say was, when I was going about the ladybug thing, ladybird thing, I think it was on Instagram, I filmed it and I was like, oh, ladybird, ladybird. Oh no, I did show you the ladybird thing on here, didn't I, saying about Positive Wednesday, talking about it. And I put ladybird, ladybird, fly away home. Now I couldn't remember the song to that, but the Kilted Goth did write on ladybird, ladybird, fly away home, and then something to do with the end about Anne being there and the little ladybird that was left. And I was like, I know it's Anne, but it's funny because my nana was called Annie, and as I keep saying about the ladybugs touching me and being on me yesterday, and after finding one in the garden it flown away, and I went charity shopping, it was there, and I was like, oh. He was like, oh, your nana seems to be everywhere, because I said, oh, my nana was called Annie, so maybe. And the only other thing is, I did ask for a sign, because this is how I am, and when you look for signs, doesn't mean they don't come like you expect. I did ask for a sign, I don't know if it was weekend, saying, send me a sign to know that I'm on the right path. You know, in my spirituality, the thing that I'm thinking of looking, you know, going into again, properly. And so when I read the meaning of the ladybird, as if you've just seen my video before, then you'll know that I think it was a sign, and you know what it was saying in it, what resonates to me. So if you haven't seen it, that was Positive Wednesday. This week being what's the date today? Is it the 3rd, 4th? But it's Tuesday today, I keep forgetting because I've filmed it before. But anyway, whatever. So what I was going to talk about was, yes, the path that I'm choosing to go on is the witchy way, sort of Wiccan witchcraft. And I've got to get that into terms right because it does confuse me still a little bit. And I don't need people, if they are watching this, to go, oh, blah, blah, blah. I know, I see things on YouTube, people going on at different people, but I see it like, as what I've come across, like, there's pagans way back, and pagans nature-based. Wiccan is nature-based, but like a religion, and witchcraft is, you're in the practice of witchcraft, and you can be a pagan witch, a Wiccan witch, or just witch, but I don't think you have to be like religious in the Wiccan to be a witch. But I like that it is a religion, but I would see it as sort of like, because we're in the modern world now, and obviously years ago, even in, you know, pagan, because pagan, like, to me, it's nature based, like years and years and thousands of years ago, even when the prehistoric people that were about were pagan, because, you know, I know it sounds stupid, people in the jungle and like tribal people and stuff like that as well, it was pagan because, in a way, because they were praying to, you know, they might have been praying to the sun, because that was the big thing that was in the sky bright, or praying to the moon at night for giving light or something, and praying to the, you know, praying to the sun and the moon and stuff, and praying up above for the rain to come and stuff like that, and chanting chants on the ground and dancing on the earth, and using herbs and things to make things, and paint faces, and do, if you know what I mean, do different things. It was all nature based, like pagan, and Wiccan's nature based, but more in a sort of like, of what I see, a religious way of the Wiccan ways, but it's like pagan as well, sort of things. But, you know, more that you're following something, which I think, yeah, I would follow the traditions, you know, like of the the Wiccan year and stuff like that. But I think when it comes to spells and stuff, I don't think, you know, and if you're watching this new thing, what's going on about spells, magic and spells, and I've said spells is like a prayer. It's just you're putting your intention into something. So you don't necessarily have to have all the instruments and tools that witches have or Wiccans have on your altar to do things. You don't have to have all that. It's nice to have the, I can't say aesthetics, I can't say it, because they look nice and stuff like that, but they are powerful if you believe they're powerful, and like, it's because you're focusing on something, I think, and then putting it out there, so, and you're putting your intention on it, but you could use it the same as, you don't have to have all them tools and things, but I also believe in, if you're doing a spell, and maybe you're saying some words to it, because it's putting you in the mindset and focusing, that, you know, some people say, oh, you have to say this spell for love, or blah, blah, whatever it is. But no, you don't. It has to resonate with you, and your words hold power because you've said them and they're powerful to you. Because when I looked at it the other year ago or so, that's why I sort of fell out of it. Because I thought, they've said this. I can't remember what they said. I'm trying to read this out of a book. I don't get it. I don't like them words. I don't really like what they've said to do. But I'd rather do it like this. Well, I think you can do it your own way because it's your practice, and it has to feel right. Has to feel right with you. But I do believe there are certain parts, like I said before, I've got the book in there with like, you know, magical plants and herbs, meaning things that help you. You know, like they might say lavender helps you sleep, and this is that, and that is that. And I said the other day, a daffodil could be good in use of this. Like, if I did a spell bag for someone and someone said, oh, could I have a spell bag like for love, and it might have a stone in there and some flowers, then you'd probably put them, this is an example, them sort of things that go with love in that bag, which, yeah, probably be rose quartz and maybe some rose petals, because that, you see that as sort of a love thing, and maybe the bag would be pink because you see that as sort of love and passion, don't you? You know, things like that. You wouldn't put it in a black bag because no one, I don't think that would resonate with anyone with being love, because you see it's sort of pink and roses and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So yes, I would use them in that sense, and candle magic as well. The colours like those, like they say, green for money and pink and red for love, and you know, stuff like that. So yes, I do believe in that, but I believe when it comes to saying words and how you sort of want to put it out there, I believe that's only for you to do, and that'd be only for me to do. So if I ever did anything in the future and was showing you, I probably wouldn't really show you it, tell you how I've sort of, you know, the words I've used, because that's sacred to me. Then you should use your own words of power, because then it'll resonate with you more, you know, sort of thing. And I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but I've chose this path because, like I've said before, it's the nature-based thing which you're going about as being a child. And even my dad, don't know if anyone noticed, commented the other day when I was saying about when we lived down south in the nature and stuff like that, and he was like, oh God, it's really good that to hear that, as now that you're grown, that's what you thought when you were a child, when you used to play out where we used to live, because we were sort of surrounded by nature. And that's why I always come back to this sort of this of what I'm thinking of doing now, because it just makes sense to me. You know, some other faiths don't make sense to me, and that's not a bad thing. It just, like I said in a video before, it just doesn't resonate with me. If you're looking at thinking, oh no, I wouldn't really like to do what she's doing, you don't have to be anything or do anything. But, or even if you're watching this and you're from a different religion or whatever, but you're just watching because maybe you like me talking about a few things, or it's just because you just like listening to other faiths and things and what people believe anyway, not to put judgment on someone or try and change someone to something else, just to see what other people talk about. Because even in your faith of what you believe, you might even hear some things that I'm saying and think, yeah, it's quite nice that I like that, and at least I can say if someone said when I was I don't know, for instance, if you go to church, oh, you don't want to be listening to people like that, and you're like, no, it's not what you think it is. But I mean, you still want to believe in your faith, but you can say to other people, actually, it's not what you think, because a lot of people think it's to do with devil worshipping and like it's evil and black magic. It's not. Like I said, this is when I've heard me going on about writing my gratitude in my gratitude journal, which anyone can do from any faith, because that's just saying thank you, and I think you normally do in most faiths. I've been thinking for ages that I want a book of shadows, I don't know what book to do, and I didn't know if I could make one, but then I thought maybe I need a big one. But now I've read, well, I showed you in the last video, but I'll show you again. But anyway, the other day, I use this book now, this one I made. It's just got some pictures of different things from different religions, but just things that I like. I just seem to scribble in this now, notes for YouTube, and like I wrote the ladybird thing in it, and I couldn't hardly read it because I just wrote it in dead quick, but it's just so I can get it all down. Don't have to keep looking at my phone when my phone screen goes down, and then I can put it into my book. So my ladybird bit will be going in my book of shadows, which I'll show you in a minute. Now I've got it in here, I'll put it neater in my book. But I was showing you this the other day, but seeing as this is what I'm talking about, I'm going to show it again. Now, when you see that sign, the pentagram, the star in the circle, that's when people think, oh, goths wear them, you know. Some goths are into it as well, but people think, oh, what's that? Oh, it's the sign of the devil. No, it's not. It's not. And if you've seen this, tough, because I'm going to show you again. But, so you'll see that sign, the circle with the star in, and there's 5 points. So, I don't know if I've got this in the right order, but basically, it's spirit, water, fire, earth, and air. It's the elements in nature. And then you've got the spirit. And then off these, you know, the lines that go down here, there's obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Across them lines, it is respect, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, and love. So now you know when you see that sign, that's what it is. It stands for the elements in the spirit and those things as well. And also, if you stand up and put your arms out and your legs apart like this, and you can see the star behind it, it's like from that point down, you know, back, down, up, it's a star expressing the saying, every man and woman is a star, because I don't know if you've heard that before, apparently, you know, when they say the Big Bang and is it atoms and all that, and that everyone's got the universe and everyone's got a bit of stardust in them. And I might not be explaining that, might be thinking, oh God, what you're talking about, but if you actually go off and find out about that, you'll realise that that's true. So it's funny how when you stand like that, it's like the points of a star. And then I was saying the other day again as well, is you have 5 fingers. No, you have, you know, you have these as well, but 5 on this hand, 5 on this hand, you know, your points and your toes, 5. It's like, and then like I said, 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feet, hands, head. And then you have 5 senses: smell, touch, sight, hear, and taste. And then you have 5 of your I said before, I don't know how to say it, your sort of stages through life: baby, toddler, teen, sort of adult, and then an elder adult. 5 is quite a magical number as well. So there you go, if you didn't know. So because I'm looking into this, basically, if you're, I don't know, Wiccan, a witch, Wiccan witch, pagan witch, whatever, you might have a book of shadows. And to me, a book of shadows is, people think, oh God, what's that? It's got spells in it and stuff. Yeah, it's where you put your, it's a practice. I'd say witch, so it's a practice. It's you're practicing. I mean, they say like, what is it, a year and a day, but you're practicing all the time. If you choose this practice, you're practicing all the time till you die. You're just learning, developing new things and new skills. And that's what your book of shadows is, really. It's like putting things down, like I've written about my ladybird and the meaning of it. You can write that in your book of shadows, because you might look back on it and think, oh yeah, there might be something hidden in that, or blah de blah. if you do a spell, you can write that down in it. So it's like a reference book, so you can look back on it and think, that spell really worked, because you can even write next to it, oh yeah, it worked really well, or it didn't, or what happened, or someone came back to you and said, you know what, I really like blah blah. You write it down. It's like a reference book, so you can go back to it, find that one, see what works for you. You can also draw in it as well and get pictures out, which, funnily enough, when I showed you my drawing journal, remember, if anyone's seen it, you know this one, where I said it's good to get your feelings out of maybe how you're feeling. I was looking for a book and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use my journal as a book of shadows, because one, it's black, not that it needs to be, but it's big as well, and I've got lots of space. And I thought, well, you know, I was drawing all these nice pictures and stuff, and I thought, there are a few pages at the front, and I thought, no, I think I'm going to use this. And if I do doodle in it and draw in it, it doesn't matter, because it's part of me, because these pictures are obviously something I'm wanting to get out of me, you know, and they're saying something, even if I don't think now, but I look back and I'm seeing a lot of things in my pictures. I can do that, it doesn't matter, because there's a lady that I watch as well called, sure it's Hersey, and she has a book of shadows grimoire, whatever you want to call it, and she adds bits in, she draws in it, she does this, she does that, she does all sorts. It doesn't have to be the sort of, I don't mean the old-fashioned way, because the thing is, we live in a modern world, and with certain things, that's what I was trying to say before, sorry, about being pagan and stuff years ago and stuff like that. Yeah, we did used to pray to the, you know, for the rain to fall, for the crops to grow, for the earth and everything, but we can sort of still do that now, and people do in other countries, but we are quite lucky, and we can just go to a shop and get food. And there's certain things that, I know it sounds daft, it might not make, well, it should make sense. There's certain things we don't have to do so much now, because we don't live back in them times, because we have moved on a lot. And I think even with, you know, being a witch or Wicca or whatever, you've got to move with the times, but you'd still be holding all, there's quite a lot of tradition still there that you still would do, like the wheel of the year and stuff. You're going to follow the wheel of the year and do your rituals and dress your altar and stuff like that, and a lot of other stuff. But there's some things that maybe you think, well, I don't need to do that, because necessarily we're not putting something out for that, because we can actually go to a shop now and we can do this, or we can do that. We have tap that, I mean, we're lucky enough in our country to turn a tap on and we get water, you know, stuff like that. Certain things, do you know what I mean? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So I've chose this to be my working book, where I'm just going to put writing about me, because this book, like the Kilted Goth said the other day, because I did him a journal, and he was saying he's never really wrote in a journal before, but he's going to do it as, like, you know, a book about him. So if someone opened it, it'd be about him and they'd understand him, which, funny enough, is a bit like, I think, it's a bit like a book of shadows, because looking at someone's book of shadows, you are going to find out about someone, because you can put thoughts in it, and even if they're dark thoughts, but not that it's to do with darkness, but you know, pictures and things in, and it's just great because you can put anything in. You can put pressed flowers in it, and what I like about it is as well is because I was doing my art journal, which this still is an art journal, because I can put art into it, into my pictures, like I was just showing it on the other video. This is the one I did today. The pentagram in the middle. It's got butterflies and leaves and a border around it, and dragonflies. It's got two little birds up here. Don't know if you can see. And I actually did this, because you don't have to be good at drawing, like I said. I actually did this with this page in the middle was ripped out, and then tea stained it, and then went round the bottom with a bit of brown crayon or something, I can't remember. I painted the background a bit like purpley pink. I know you can't see it properly on here. And then these, what look like little twiggy branchy things going around, they were actually a stamp that was about that big, and I just went all the way around, stamped it black, and then all I did was I went over with a little tin of water paint that I've had and I've not really used, and then just went over the top of the stamp, so it sort of looks like I've painted it, you can see. And then the butterflies and the dragonflies are the same. There was a dragonfly stamp and a butterfly stamp, and I just went over in colours. It's quite muted, it's not dead bright, but that's how I wanted it, because it sort of looks, it probably comes across different on camera. And then I did the star in the middle and coloured the bits in sort of, looks a bit like chakra colours, a little bit of them, with a bit of glitter. And I think that's quite pretty, because I want someone to look in the book. I don't want it to be all like dark and that, because I don't want people, well, not that people will be looking at the book, but if they did, to prove that it's not all scary. And it doesn't, a lot of people do the books in a dark way, as in, you know, dark colours or only in black and white, or, but I want to do mine, some pictures might be, some pages might be like that, but I want mine to be bright and inviting as well. But that's where I see it as sort of an art journal as well, so I can have both, because I like journaling, I like doing that, and this way in my Book of Shadows I get to do both, because I think with everything I put in it, I will be like drawing, doodling on it, stamping on it, you know, making that page that I'm doing and that I'm working on, practicing on, doing practice, pretty. And that's the thing about it as well, because you're practicing and you're learning about different religions, you're learning about different things, you're learning about herbs, you're learning about flowers, everything, because that's what it is. You're putting it into your book. So when I do bits on flowers and that, I can stick flowers in, but that's what you put in your book. It's all the bits that you're learning. Like as I go through, it'll be, you know, I might do the wheel of the year next, so I can pretty that up, put different things down. You could do rune stones, you could do about tarots, everything. It's interesting, you know what I mean? And I know I'm not, you know, I'm only just starting, so I can't feel going, oh, each one, what you're saying, that is my, you know, sort of my journey. So I've got to learn about myself. I don't want people saying all this and that, because you've got to learn by watching things, and not everything's right on YouTube. You know, people say this, oh, you've got to do it this way, and I say you've got to use this and that. No, you don't. So like I said, you've got to do, I think as long as you're using most of the traditions, sort of, like, you know, like I said before, but some of them don't need to be done because we're not living back in that day. But I think you do, if you're going down the religion side of it, you do have to use, obviously, the traditions and stuff, but there's some bits that you don't. And magic words, like I said, words of your own are more stronger, I think, if they're from your own head and your own mouth, because it's you who said it, you know what you're talking about, sort of thing. I remember doing it. That's why I sort of fell off when I was watching someone said, oh, do this, do that, and I kept thinking, I don't like this word, and I don't like the way they put that. I want to do it my way, so it will be done my way. So it's like a bit of a modern way for me to get my head around, but I don't know if that makes sense. But like I said, it's my learning and my path and my practice, so I've got to learn about it myself. So I don't need anyone, if anyone was to make any funny comments or they've been following this path for a bit, you must have started out somewhere at the beginning, and it is a bit confusing at the beginning with certain wording of certain things. Like I said before, paganism, whatever, is a big umbrella, and there are lots of things that goes off pagan, because a Wiccan is one of them. Like pagan is like a non-Abrahamic religion, you know, it's not Christian. So, you know, pagan is like Buddhism and stuff like that, you know, that are nature-based. So yeah, bits of it's quite confusing in a way. I sort of know what I mean, but it's my choice to do this, and I've got to learn, because that's the whole point of learning and growing yourself. And if I went down this path for a bit and then thought it wasn't for me, then that's up to me. But it's pulled me back again, because I did love it at the time I was doing it, but that's the problem I was having with some people saying, oh, you've got to say this word, or you've got to say it like this or do it like this. No, I've got to do it with how I feel right. And like I said, so if you ever see me putting anything up on a page which is a spell bag or something like that, it just means I've done something for somebody in mind, with my energy and my intention on it, so it'll work, because it's got my energy and intention for that person, if you understand what I'm talking about. But I will be going, I think I will be doing videos on this. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. And I don't know if I'll set a day or they'll just pop up, but you'll know by the title. So if you think I like a Positive Wednesdays, I know a few people do, they like watching this, but if you think, oh, I don't want to watch a Witchy Wiccan ones, then you don't have to, because you'll see the title and you don't have to watch them ones if you're not into it. But then again, it doesn't matter what faith religion you're in, sometimes it's just nice to watch other people talking about different things, whether you take that on or not. But yeah, so that's going to be my book. So I'll show you. I can show you every time I put something new in it, what it looks like, and sure, I was going to say something else. Because even that goes in with, you know, how they say witches used to make things, or they used oils and things to make ointments to help people, and herbs, and, you know, all stuff like that. A bit like I'm doing this, letting it sit for 3 weeks to make a rose oil, to make some nice lovely lip balms for people, you know, so that sort of thing. But, and if you are into it and you know who Tiptoe Chick is, I just can't believe she's back again. I'm so chuffed, because that is the person who a few years ago, I mean, she said 9 years later, I didn't see her right from the beginning, but who I found a few years ago when I was feeling a bit about myself, and I just loved it, and that's what got me on board and looking at things. But you do have to, in this, you can't just jump in and think, oh, I'm going to be thinking. You do have to look into it, and you do have to do your research, and not just on YouTube, books. I mean, on YouTube, but different people's books, different things, you know, lots of different ways, not just solely off YouTube. But you do have to do your work. You can't just sit back and go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do spell, and I'm calling myself this. You do have to look into it, and you have to research, and, you know, does it resonate with you, or are you just doing it because you used to watch Charmed or something? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but it was a little, I don't even know how long I've been on for, because it's a short one, it's not really, but yeah, so I'm going to be coming at you with more things like this, but it's all positive, because that's what it is. Like I said in here, the page I was doing, if you didn't see Positive Wednesday, but if you did, I'm going to say it again. The Wiccan read is, you know, like their law is, bide the Wiccan laws ye must, in perfect love and perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan read fulfill, and ye harm none, do as you will. So you can do what you want, but you don't harm people in what you're doing. And never mind the rule of 3. Oh, sorry, not never mind. And ever mind the rule of 3. What ye send out comes back to thee. So if you're sending something out bad, it's going to come back to you. And they normally say like 3 times. But at the end of the day, it's not about black magic or anything like that. But it's supposed to be about positive things. And if you're doing something, you're always helping someone or sending love. So if you did, it's going to come back to you. And that is, if you think about it, their way of saying, or in other cultures and religions, it's karma. What you put out, if you're giving negative vibes out all the time, or being horrible to someone, you're going to get it back. Don't know when, but you will get it back. Karma does come back around. That's what that's saying. That's karma. You know, whatever you send out, it's going to come back. Follow this with mind and heart. A merry meet, a merry part. So if you hear me start saying on the beginning of a video, merry meet, merry part, hello and goodbye, or blessed be, it's just a nice thing to say, because that's what we say. But yeah, so I don't know. If you fancy watching these when they come up, come and watch them. You know, it's a journey, and I'm on a journey, and I don't care. It's what I want to do. And like I said in them cards before, my readings from Positive Wednesday, that's what it's been telling me to do. And I'm just being true to myself, and I'm not scared to be on here and talk about things that I like. I'm not bothered, you know. I don't care. People can sit there and go, what's she going on about, or laughing? Have you seen? But I'm not really bothered. It's what I want to do, and that's what makes me happy. Like, that's what it said in my card before. And the ladybird thing, signs, you know, signs that are about that you don't normally see. But that's what I'm like. That's why I like this, because it is that sort of thing. I see signs in different other things. So anyway, so I'll see you next time. I can't say with whatever, because I don't know what I'm going to call it. I have to think about it. So see you soon. Bye.